This is Ivan, and Ivan is pissed off himself because he basically sucks at the game of chess. He wants to be better, however, he never manages to do so, and thus, he decides to do the logical thing. Alright, so these are my own results, okay, as you can see 756 so far. I leveled up to the elo range all the way from 700, okay, when I was just starting quite a while ago, and I was in there, as you can see, for quite a while, and for almost like the first half a year, 4 months, somewhere there. I have not improved whatsoever. Like you can see 790 going down, up and down like this. Okay, I did not have much improvement, but then as you can see, I just jumped in my elo. Okay, so I'm gonna show you why that happened. This is one thing. And the second, this video is specifically made for people who are also stuck, but you don't have to be just stuck on the 700, 600 elo. This also applies if you're at the 800, 900, anywhere really about approximately 1000, okay? And below, this video will apply to you, right? So let me now show you the very first thing. So here we have our first position. As you can see, black is a little bit better. He's a 0.6 in advantage, very simply because he's a little bit ahead in development than white. And to prove it, if I pull the analysis board, but this time the knight is here, unlike the last example, you can see now they are equal. Okay, so it's just that black really had another piece which is developed. So let me now show you what happened in this example. So one thing that happens immediately, and again, this is a beginner's example, okay, is that black made the move bishop to g4, right? And as you can see, the reason is I'm going to do this move. You think like, oh, I'm threatening the queen, but it's not working whatsoever because I'm gonna do this move, kicking away your bishop, and then I'm going to develop myself, and suddenly you're not that much ahead in development than I was, right? And white does it, okay, does f3, okay, and the bishop now needs to move away, anywhere as you've seen there. The issue is, where do you move this bishop to? And so what I want you to do is I want you to pause like for a minute or so, or even a few seconds, and just think, okay, where are you going to move this bishop to? Alright, so hopefully you've paused the video to actually look for where are you going to move this bishop to. And let me tell you this, the move that happened is not the correct move. And so if you are thinking about moving the bishop back to e6, this is the move that happened, but this is the issue. It's also a blunder. And why is this? I'm going to just take the bishop. It's free to take. And once I take here, I can move with the knight to fork the rook and the queen. Right, so now I'm completely winning as white. The way that white does it is a little bit differently than what I've described, but still same thing either way. He first of all does d5 to fork the bishop and the knight, and after the knight moves away, takes on e6, alright, the knight takes on c4, and just the exact same thing happens, okay, just in a different way. And now white is completely winning after black moves the queen away, and now the rook is taken. White is now completely winning. I want you to pause really for just a minute and think, are moves like this happening to you in your own games? Are you basically making moves that allow your opponent to just win material, okay, without any return for the sacrifice of material like here? Okay, are you making basically moves like bishop to e6, where you're just making it instantly and you don't notice that it's going to lose to you a lot of material and probably also lose the entire game? If you are making these types of moves, you need to understand that this is the reason that you're stuck as a chess beginner anywhere below 1000. Okay, we can also argue that this is the reason for that thing. I'm gonna show you, of course, like soon how to solve it, but you need to understand that this is the problem that we have right now. It's not that you have not learned like enough endgames or things like this, it's just that you've neglected the fact that you're still blundering. And let me tell you this, every player that loses, okay, does a blunder in some way, but as a beginner, you have a very easy way to control these blunders, okay? You can just stop them instantly, and I'm going to show you how to do this, or at least maybe not stop them completely, okay, but you can certainly minimize the amount of times that these blunders happen, okay, in order to improve. And so to prove my point, I want you to make a little analysis. I want you to check the last 3 games that you've played, okay, and see are moves like this happening. If the answer is yes to at least one of them, it's the reason that you're stuck right now. When I was in here, 700, I was basically making these blunders all the time. without ever stopping, okay, without figuring that this is the problem that I needed to stop in order to actually improve. And so I was just on the same elo level for a very long time because of that. In here, I figured, okay, this is the problem, I need to minimize it, okay, and this way I can improve. And then I started to really improve on my chess elo. Of course, like here, there are other things that we need to do, obviously, okay, but in here, this is the main thing, especially from here to 1000. Alright, so now we are going for the second example, okay? This time, like, our opponent is not in an advantage, but they are winning. And why are they winning? Okay, they simply have a lot more pawns than we do. As you can see, they don't have an extra piece, they just have a lot more pawns. Okay, you can just win in chess sometimes by just capturing a lot more pawns than your opponent. Beginners, they have this problem where they just don't see pawns, okay, as material whatsoever. And then you can just gobble up a lot of them, okay, for your opponent, and then they're actually going to be able to win over you. Okay, because of this. I've been won over many times because of this, actually. But here he makes kind of a mistake, again, beginner games, because he makes the move rook to b8, okay, with a check. And as you can see, the advantage drops down. Why is this? It's because I'm going to move, and now I'm going to start threatening your pawns as well, okay? So I'm basically going to start, obviously, like, not now. First, I need to move my king, but after I do this and I move my king, my idea is I'm going to start, like, threatening your pawns and to take them down one by one, right? This is my idea. And since the rook cannot move back, okay, it cannot like move back in time to defend these pawns, and that is why the advantage is now lost for whites. He basically had more material, but he just lost it, right, via this mistake. And let me just show you in the bar. Alright, so now after black decides to move king to g7, and honestly the difference between these moves g7 and h7 is so minor that you do not need to even think about it. So the move that now happens, okay, which you probably expected to be a blunder at this point, okay, because I've talked about how this is the problem, is the move rook to e8. And as you can see, it's just a mate. Okay, you probably see already why is this a mate, because we can go queen to f2, the king is going to move to h1, and after the queen is here, we can move to h2 and just checkmate the king. Black saw it and obviously like immediately checkmated his opponent in 2 moves. This is how much of a problem as a beginner these types of moves can be. You just neglect something else that happens, okay, and thus lose the entire thing. So let's talk now about how do we actually stop moves like this from ever happening again. So one thing we need to be aware of is the fact that there are indeed times where they might happen, okay? It's not that we're gonna stop them completely, but we can certainly minimize the amount of times they're happening. The first one is, and we basically do it before we make the move. So let's say for a moment that we are here and we are white. Now we make basically we ask the question. So the first one is, how can we improve our own position? How can we damage our opponent's position? And is the move that we're thinking about a blunder? Okay, we need to be aware of this by very simply doing blunder checks. But as you can see, in this example, there's a clear threat of a mate, so we need to really deal with this, and therefore the first and the second questions do not really apply to us, okay? We can't really improve our position or damage our opponents, we just need to defend from the threat of a checkmate. And so then, if you're gonna think, okay, is this a good move? And the questions that we're gonna ask, does it improve our position? Okay, first of all, it gives away the rook, okay, but even like, it does not improve our position so much, because there is again the threat of a mate. Does it hurt our position? Again, not much, but there is the threat of a mate, okay? So we need to deal with this, and so if we make this move, it's going to be a blunder, okay? Because it's just going to checkmate us. And so again, we are never going to do the move rook to e8. We're going to do the move queen to f1, okay? Queen to f1, and at least we're not winning now like we have been before, because black is now going to take all of these pawns, okay? Not immediately, but he's going to. But at least it's playable now. On the second example, okay, on the first one of this video, before we make the blunder bishop to g6, we are asking, okay, how we have a clear threat of a mate. Can we use it to our advantage to make our position a little bit better? We still need to make sure that this bishop is developed. We cannot use it for our advantage that much because it's still under threat. Can we hurt using it our opponent's position? In this example, again, not that much, but we can move it back, okay? It's still developed and it's not being under attack. attack all that much. Or you can move it here. But this way, okay, you're gonna reflect between two good moves, okay? You're not gonna reflect between a good and a bad move. And that's a lot less likelier to make a blunder. Alright, so thanks for asking. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I will do my best to answer all of them, alright? And if you want, you can consider leaving a subscribe, okay? And I'll be here next time that you log into your computer to study chess. There's the first link in the description where I personally am going to take you into not just bypassing the levels of 700. And if you want, the first link in the description and I will take you personally all the way, not just from bypassing like the 1000 elo range, but all the way up until here. And I'll show you how to do it in a very simple way. And that's it for today's video and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.